Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your September 2017 general readings. Yes, you can see from the background I am still in Poland, although I will be back in the States in my more or less regular home base in about a week and a half. So thank you for your continued following, your like, share, subscribe, support, feedback, and comments. You guys are great. Keep them coming. Thank you to those of you who, no matter what corner of the globe I'm exploring, continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings because, as you know, I continue to work the same no matter where I'm at. And thank you to my regular clients as well. And if any of you are interested in any personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the About or Description button or little tool wheel. I know YouTube has changed their format yet again. You can go to any of those and click on them, and you'll get a little more information, and also my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to do a reading with you. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do, so turnaround time is usually pretty quick, anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks for a recorded or live reading. But almost always within a 2-week period of time, we can set something up for you. So if you're interested, send me an email, and we'll go from there. I do a wide variety of readings, love and romance, of course, which make up at least 75% of what I do. I also do compatibility charting, career, work, and finance overviews, readings, career, work, and finance readings. I also do life overviews, 6 months, upwards of 3 years, and channeled messages, and also package readings for those of you who like readings bi-weekly or monthly as well. So email me if you're interested. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. As you know, there's so many of you watching, and of course they're not going to mean the same thing in the same area of your life to the same degree and intensity, because everyone's got different things going on in their lives. So if you know your rising and your moon sign, try to watch those as well. They may play out a little more predictably for you than your sun sign and just give you additional insight and clarification. Okay, enough of that. We are looking at September 2017. Thank you for the last few signs for waiting. I usually have everything done at the end of the month or right before mid-month for the mid-month readings, but I had some electronic issues, so there was a couple of the signs had to wait till the 1st, which is when I'm actually recording these. So thank you for your patience, particularly Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Scorpio. This particular video is for Sagittarius for September 2017, the fire sign of Sagittarius. So Sag, we have the Ace of Cups, followed by the 10 of Wands. We have the Queen of Swords, followed by the 10 of Pentacles, the Fool, followed by the 7 of Cups. Quite some giddy energy there. And we have the 2 of Wands followed by the Star. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the 8 of Cups, the walking away card. So Sagittarius, it looks like, of course, the area of your life that this reflects in and to what degree is going to vary, and with the specifics of the details, of course, because there's thousands of you watching. But as I always say, the energy fundamentally and energetically remains the same. Your overall energy for the month of September 2017 and guidance for some of you is the 8 of Cups, water energy. The emotional feelings, relationship part of our life is what the Suit of Cups typically manifests in. Well, you can apply the same energy to any area of your life. The 8 of Cups is a card primarily about leaving, about walking away, leaving something behind which you are disillusioned with, disappointed, perhaps, or perhaps it's just lost its shine or served its purpose and it's time to move on, definitively time to move on. Some of you, you will be in the process of moving on from this. Some of you, this energy is still in the contemplative, turning it over in your head kind of phase. It may be something that you started out thinking was something else. which typically is what this card represents, although it can represent something which has turned out differently than what you thought. The 8 cups behind this man, some of them tip over and spilled out, some of them upright and full, represent that he's tasted a drunk from most, if not all, of these cups, and just at the end of it, he's come to realize that it's not what he or she really finds satisfying or fulfilling. So as there is the energy of definitively leaving something behind. I say definitively because he's already made up his mind. His back is turned. He's left the cups behind him. He's dressed for travel. He has his hat on, his cloak on, his walking staff. He may not be entirely sure what direction he's going in, but he knows what he's turning his back on and leaving behind. So that's energetically the energy for the month of September 2017. Or for some of you, it's guidance. Again, some of you maybe having very recently left something behind, perhaps in August. Some of you may be in the process of walking away. Some of you may be mulling over in your head, turning it over whether you need to or not. So what area of your life this reflects in is going to vary. Let's look at your elemental energy here. We have 2 cups, 2 wands, a sword, and a pentacle. So some of you, this might be in the relationship area of your life, and even under that umbrella, this relationship could be a romantic relationship, it could be a friendship, family relationship. Some of you, this may be in the work career path or project portion of your life, that more tangible pentacles, earth energy. Some of you, this could even be religious or spiritual path as well. You may be leaving one behind for another one, or leaving one behind and just going and exploring. There is the sense that you're not entirely sure where you're going yet. So we have the Ace of Cups followed by the 10 of Wands. So cups, more water energy here. Aces represent new beginnings. The Ace of Cups can represent, I'm really sorry about the glare here. It's just the way it is here. And it's a stormy day, so I have to use indirect lighting. So the Ace of Cups can sometimes represent new love and romance or new emotional awakenings of some kind. Aces usually represent the number 1. They represent the beginning of something, which holds a fair amount of potential, but it also represents something like seeds, which can fizzle out if they're not taken care of or followed through with. So the Ace of Cups, for some of you, you may be involved in a new love or relationship. You may have met somebody new recently. There may be new emotional awakenings of some kind. Some of you, this may be something coming into your life. Some of you, this may be something that you're walking away from in your life, or it may be something which represents the end of a long-held burden of some kind. Some of you, now I say that because the Ace of Cups is paired with the 10 of Wands. Wands is fire energy here, and it typically is about building, manifesting, creating energy. It's change, movement, action, power. Tens represent the end of a cycle, kind of the completion energy or fulfillment energy, something coming full circle. And in this case, the 10 of Wands would represent a burden coming to an end, needing to come to an end, or something cycling down to a close. This man is still carrying his burden, which I always feel kind of started off as 1 or 2 wands and then just ended up becoming heavier and heavier till it became so heavy that he couldn't stand up straight. Carrying it successfully for sure, but still it being quite heavy nonetheless. And he's reaching the destination. His head is up. He's looking at the point where he can lay these wands down, this burden down, stand up and take a deep breath and be free of it. Now, some of you are going to be on one side of this and some of you are going to be on the other. For some of you, you may be involved in new love and romance. You may have met somebody recently, which represents the end of a long-held burden. And that burden could have been just simply being alone, walking your life path alone. It can also represent a new relationship that doesn't necessarily have to be a sensual or romantic love. It could be a new friendship. It could be somebody coming back into your life, somebody that helps kind of share a burden that you've been having. For some of you, this does not necessarily even need to be relationship related at all. It could be an emotional awakening, an awakening up, or a healing process of some kind of an emotional epiphany, where you actually start to energetically feel better about something. There's an emotional healing taking place, and it represents also the end of a burden that could be grief or sadness of some kind of a part of the end of a healing process as well. Some of you although I think this is a smaller portion of you, especially with that walking away energy. Some of you actually may have recently had an opportunity for new love and romance, and it could have been a temptation if you're already within a relationship, or just the offer of a newness within that emotional or relationship area of your life. And this may be something that you're choosing to say no to, or perhaps somebody's made an offer. There's been an offer or opportunity in front of you of a new beginning, and you're choosing to walk away from that and to make the decision not to accept it or take it. Neither good nor bad. Just because there's an opportunity, or the cards show there's an opportunity or offer in our life, does not necessarily mean that we have to take it, or that the saying no or not taking of it is a bad thing. I'm not one of those believers of, most of the time, I'm not a big believer in a specifically wrong path or right path. Every path has value if we learn from it. I think for the majority of you, though, it's this newness, this start of a new path or a new beginning in that emotional or relationship area of your life, which represents being able to shed a weight of some kind, even if that weight is simply just not feeling alone anymore. You can also translate this energy into job, work, career path. There may be a new opportunity, or something may have happened, a shift, a change, which has made you feel a lot better. You could have had a new beginning, a new job, a new transition, a promotion of some kind as well. I think for the majority of you, it's more in the relationship arena of your life. Some of you may be leaving one relationship for another relationship. There may be, I'm getting the sense of somebody's had a divorce final. You may be involved in a relationship, but I feel like there's a divorce becoming final, or a separation becoming final of some kind, and just that separation energy. Some of you are separating from something. I think a lot of you, it's a relationship, although it could be a job or work or project. But I feel like for the majority of you, it's a relationship, and that in and of itself is representing this burden being lifted and a whole new beginning for you moving forward, particularly emotionally, whether that includes a new relationship or not. Now, next to that, we have the Queen of Swords, followed by the Ten of Pentacles. Again, the story is going to split off a few different ways here. Pentacles is earth energy, and it usually manifests in that earthly, tangible, concrete, day-to-day life that we live in, sector of our life: job, money, resources, property, assets, etc. Well, you can transfer that energy into emotions and spirituality as well. Tangible result of perhaps intangible energy we put into something. Another 10 here, and it's right next to the 10 of Wands, so there's a lot of completion or ending energy in the month of September 2017 too, which makes sense because your overall energy is walking away, leaving something behind. Something is coming to an end. For some of you, this may be a long-term relationship, a long-term investment of some kind. It could be even a home, a family business, family estate, a long-term marriage or relationship. Some of you, it may be a long-term job or career path. It could be retirement for some of you as well. This kind of culminating, ending, and what's next in my life. It's going to resonate differently, although the energy is the same. There's a wrapping up here, and it's a wrapping up of something which you've invested a lot into, which the Ten of Pentacles also represents. Financially, monetarily, or even on an emotional level, the Ten of Pentacles represents something. This is about the long, slow accumulation of something which grows bigger and bigger. The roots get deeper. There's more stability, more abundance. There's just more weight and more history with it. It can represent family business, family money, family estate, because there is a connection in this energy to home and family as well. So again, it could be even selling a family home or business, or the final division of family home or business or assets of some kind, retirement, divorce, something coming to an end, something cycling down, leaving something behind. I think for a lot of you, the energy that I'm getting is that while there may be some bittersweet, some nostalgia, some poignancy to it, underneath it there feels like there's a foundation of being finally free, of being happy that you're finally free of it, or it actually being quite freeing and relieving overall. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is paired with the Queen of Swords. So we have air energy with the Suit of Swords. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about how we look at things, see things, our outlook, perspective, belief system, and how it affects the way that we communicate. Swords can also represent insight, clarity, truth, higher education, learning. Again, it's all about the energy up here. Queens and kings represent individuals who've reached the mastery of their suit. So this could represent a specific person in your sphere who's going to be important or influential or play some kind of motivating or primary factor in September 2017. It's showing up as a female because it's a queen, but it doesn't necessarily need to be gender specific because this is a general reading, so it could be male as well. It simply could be a female aspect of a male that happens to come out in this particular situation. So the Queen of Swords would represent typically an air sign individual, male or female, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Now the Queen of Swords would be somebody, the Queen and King of Swords both, these are truth seekers, people. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. So people, someone who is quite smart, well-educated even perhaps, somebody who's all about truth and reality, what is. The Queen of Swords sometimes, I mean, in the reverse, she can be quite a nasty person to deal with. In the upright, forthright, she's sometimes referred to as the divorced woman or the grieving or the widow. This is something that's not necessarily the case specifically, of course, but this represents somebody who has a fair amount of life behind her, and she's learned quite a bit from life as well. She can sometimes come across as blunt, very practical, straight to the point, not one to sugarcoat things. She's all about truth and what is and getting right to the point. Sometimes comes across as maybe a little emotional, distant, or withdrawn or aloof. She doesn't necessarily mean to be that way. She just has a lot of life experience behind her. She has less patience for some things and more patience for others. She's quite an experienced and wise person, and a really good person to seek out wisdom and insight from. Now, paired with the Ten of Pentacles, this is going to play out a variety of different ways. For some of you Sagittarians, this could be the person you're in a new relationship with. For some of you, it could be the person you're exiting a relationship from, a long-term relationship. For those of you for whom this would represent someone that that's part of this leaving energy, this walking away. This is somebody with whom you've had a connection with for quite some time. It could be a marriage, a long-term friendship. Again, for some of you, it could be new love and romance. It could be somebody that you're having a new beginning with and you're trying to build a long-term future with. For some of you, for whom this may resonate as in the more concrete part of your life, you know, job, business, careers, could be family, home, money, or estate. This could be somebody you're partnering with or somebody you're just working with in terms of helping leave whatever this represents behind. But I think for the majority of you, this is somebody that when you're done with this, she or he is also going to be part of what you're leaving behind. In job or work, this could be a business partner as well, somebody influential in your work, or even somebody that you worked with or for. Again, it's going to play out differently, but the energy fundamentally remains the same. You have, I think, a long history built up with this person. For some of you, the Queen of Swords is not going to represent a specific person in your life. Just energetically, it's guidance or feedback on characteristic traits that you need to manifest, something like the Queen of Swords throughout the month of September, which is almost a little funny considering the energy of the next two cards, which is very giddy and kind of all over the place. So the Queen of Swords would be, you know, kind of focused, assertive, looking at all the facts before making a decision, not being spontaneous or impulsive, particularly in regards to anything long-term or making decisions about anything that you've had for a while, been invested for a while, or been working at for a while, or with for a while. Because next to that, although I think for most of you, it's really a person, but some of you, it's energetic. It's advice on making sure to try and stay a bit grounded and a bit practical, particularly in regards to long-term matters, because next we have the energy of the Fool, my favorite card. and the Seven of Cups. This is very kind of all over the place kind of energy. The Seven of Cups, so we have emotional energy here with the water element of cups. The Seven of Cups is a card. It can be about fantasy, distraction, illusion, daydreaming, not being quite reality grounded or focused. It can represent having multiple opportunities, each seeming more perfect and beautiful than the last. Each of these seven cups is filled with basically what represents potential, perfect potential, beautiful potential. Again, it can represent kind of having your head in the clouds, not being quite reality based or grounded, needing to actually pick one of these cups, pick one of these opportunities or options or potential, and being focused and practical about that. You do have the Ace of Cups, which represents beginnings too. The Seven of Cups, which can represent potential, but kind of daydreaming, not being all that practical about it. And paired with the Fool is also about potential. It's about endings and beginnings, but the Fool is actually about that energy in between something coming to an end, which something is very definitively coming to an end in September for you if it hasn't already. And before you start something new, before a new journey, the Fool is about that time in between, that potential, where anything's possible, everything's possible. The potential itself is limitless. You're considering what's possible because that's what he's about. He's not so much about being focused on the destination and goal, even though it's good and practical to set destination and goals. The Fool is more about the journey itself, about stepping off the well-trodden path, maybe taking a risk, maybe doing something you've never done before, doing something which may feel out of character in order to get different results. It is about taking joy in each step of the journey. But it's almost a giddy energy. It's almost like some of you may be like falling in love and you're just in that, throwing off sparkles everywhere you go kind of energy. And there is some advice here on try to at least keep a couple of toes on Mother Earth and be a little focused and practical, particularly for those of you who are maybe considering making the decision to leave something behind which you've invested a lot of time, energy, love, resources, whatever, whether it's work or relationship. There is a sense of being overcome by this new path, this new potential, this new relationship, this new something, and being all over the place and maybe not being as grounded as you could be. So be kind of vigilant and aware of that through the month of September, Sagittarius, because as a fire sign and just as Sagittarians can sometimes just tend to be, just again, make sure you keep a couple of toes on the ground so you don't go sailing off. We want to make sure there's water in the pool before we jump. Now, at or towards the end of the month, Sagittarius, we have more grounding advice here for you. I'm really interested to see what this is for some of you. So we have the Two of Wands at or towards the end of the month, time being somewhat fluid, as I always say, the Two of Wands and the Star. Actually, you have both of my absolute top two favorite tarot cards here, the Fool and the Star. Love them both. But they can both, again, be about energy that's not necessarily tangible, practical, or grounded in reality. The Two of Wands, fire energy here. The Two of Wands is about being at a crossroads and needing to make a decision, needing to choose a path, Sagittarius. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I do this thing or do I not? Do I walk away? Do I stay? And if I walk away, do I necessarily go in this direction or not? So it's about needing to choose a path. The key to choosing the right path in the Two of Wands is in long-term thinking and planning. It may be very difficult to kind of temporarily set aside this wonderful thing that's in front of you, whatever this new opportunity or person or job or whatever it is, however it's reflecting in your life. But it's about setting that aside and looking further down the road. This is about long-term goals. What's your big picture goal? What's your long-term goal? Once you have that fixed in your mind, then you look at what's current and present in your life, and anything that doesn't help further you towards that goal, or at least not get in your way, you need to pare or cut down. This is about looking down the road and kind of being grounded and focused on that and figuring out what you want long-term to help you make a decision now on which direction you need to start in. And it's paired with the Star, which is another major arcana card and a beautiful one. This is about renewed hope, faith, and optimism. I think for the majority of you, whatever new thing or opportunity which is in front of you is overall a pretty positive, blessed thing. It just looks like the temptation to maybe lose track of the finer details or not be focused and intentional enough could be a danger to you later on. So just again, try and stay somewhat grounded, because the star is about hope, faith, and optimism, but renewed hope, faith, and optimism, like, you know, healing after you've been sick for a long time, whether physically or on an emotional level as well, maybe after a bad breakup, kind of a winter into spring, darkness into light, sickness into healing kind of sense, waking up again and realizing maybe after a long period of darkness that, yeah, the sun is still shining, life is still meant to be living, perhaps love is still real and alive and out there for me. Renewed hope, faith, and optimism, a renewed faith in whatever your connection to source is, God, spirit, your angels, guides, the universe, knowing that they love you, that they want the best for you, to follow your intuition, which is your connection to source, and knowing that at the end of that is wish fulfillment and love and joy and fulfillment just in general, and having that renewed sense of hope, faith, and optimism, particularly about your long-term goals, instead of perhaps maybe you've been going through a difficult or a dark time, just kind of putting one foot in front of the other, just trying to get through one day and then the next day and then the next day. And all of a sudden this new whatever it is has come in and it just has you feeling, you know, wow, it's I'm living again and it's all possible, and it's like fairy dust and sparkles all over. Just again, try and stay somewhat grounded and practical about this. At the same time, you're enjoying it, and I think all will be well. You're definitely leaving something behind and wrapping something up, or you're definitely contemplating that for a lot of you, although I think it's overall positive. Just make sure to consider everything and not just go jumping out a window before you check to make sure there's something to catch you under there first. So Sagittarius, that pretty much wraps up your delightful September 2017 reading. I hope you have enjoyed it. It almost has a whimsical feel to it, so it'd be interesting to get feedback from this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that at least some of you found it entertaining, if not helpful, as I certainly have. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the About or Description button, or the little tool wheel, because YouTube has changed its format again. And you'll get some information from that along with my email address, which is maggie, the number 1, mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the September 2017 mid-month readings. And until then, Sagittarius, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Don't forget to message me, those of you for whom this resonates, because I'm curious. I will see you all again shortly. I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.